When I was a kid, I had big plans. I was going to be the next 8-time world champion tie-down calf roper like my hero, Fred Whitfield. I distinctly remember asking my stepdad, Roy, one day while cleaning stalls at the barn, just what exactly would I have to do to win the tie-down calf roping at the National Finals Rodeo the following month. Not knowing if he should attempt to answer the question or bust out laughing, he simply turned and walked into the feed room. You see, at the time, I was the tallest girl in the 2nd grade, and I could flank a goat better than any other sub-junior contestant at the Brazoria County Summer Series. That's right. I just knew I was going places. But I'll never forget what he did next. He came back out of the feed room with a 5-gallon bucket in one hand and a calf rope in the other, calling me over in his deep, grizzly voice. He said, "Rope the bucket." At first, I was a little confused. You see, I had a perfectly good roping dummy in the trailer. I didn't need to rope a bucket, but you see, my 6'2", 220-pound stepdad was not one you wanted to question. So I picked up the rope and I roped the bucket, and I stared at him like, what next? "Keep going," he said. "Every night, rope this here bucket 100 times. You miss, you start over. Got it?" I just knew this is exactly what I needed to do to achieve my goals. But you see, at the time, I didn't know that I'd have to get it, get with it, and go for it. I just knew that nothing, and I mean nothing, was gonna stop me from getting to my dreams. So here I go. Back then, I didn't get it. I didn't know that everything happened for the reason. I thought I had the world conquered. I knew exactly what I was gonna do. I was gonna become a huge success rodeoing, riding the horses my sister trained, and I knew exactly how I was gonna do it. But that was before life happened. That was before my stepdad, Roy, fell back into the drugs and the alcohol and the abuse. My mom had to run him off. That was before my sister, my hero, left me and the only person I had, my mom, because they couldn't see eye to eye over divorce. That was before my life came to a screeching halt, and I was left standing out in the middle of a storm we call life, wondering how my perfectly planned future had suddenly become a bleak and sheer figment of my imagination. And it was at this point in my life that I was faced with a decision. Do I stand there with my arms open wide, waiting for someone to save me from the pain I felt within and give me a shoulder to cry on? Or do I take a step back and realize that maybe, just maybe, my life would be changing for the better? Getting it is all about understanding the lessons from life and the personal growth you will make because of the hard times that you're going through. Texas FFA, when you get it, you believe with everything that you have that everything happens for a reason. When you get it, you accept things for the way that they are. And when you get it, you begin to grow as a person and develop. Instead of sulling up and letting those situations define you, you begin to define your situations. The next step is all about getting with it, seeing the opportunities through the storm. Once my life had taken that dramatic turn, I sought out every opportunity possible to avoid the awkward life I had at home. Sports, friends, UIL, even drama, I became a person who wasn't afraid to try anything, as long as it meant that I didn't have to go home right after school. You see, I had this best friend in 8th grade, and every day after school, we'd go home to her house, and I'd help her with her animals. And one day, while we were out at the barn, I distinctly remember making the comment somewhere along the lines of, "I think think I want to show a pig. And then I heard the 9 most challenging words I'd ever heard. You can't show a pig, you're just a horse girl. Out of complete disapproval and outrage, you better believe the following September I had my first set of pigs in the barn. Those few words pushed me out of my comfort zone and into 5 very successful years of exhibiting swine. Above proving my best friend at the time wrong, that a horse girl can show pigs, I had taken my life from that very negative time and walked through an open door. Each obstacle we're faced with leads us to something even greater down the road. Revelations 3:7 says, whatever he opens, no one can close. And whatever he closes, no one can open. So think with me. When was the last time someone told you you couldn't do something? Did you prove them wrong? Getting with it. You have to get with it. Quit demanding why and start asking what next so that you can see the open doors and the obstacles wide open for you. And the final step is all about going for it. Webster's dictionary defines radioactivity to be the phenomenon exhibited by a property of certain elements of spontaneously emitting radiation resulting from the changes in the nuclei of the atoms of the element. Now, I know that's a mouthful, and Lord knows I ain't teaching science class. But hidden within that long scientific definition is my life's motto. You see, when broken down, phenomenon means the actions or decisions that we make, exhibited by a property of certain elements, referring to being yourself, being a member of the Texas FFA, spontaneously emitting radiation, going after what you love, what you believe in, resulting from the changes in the nuclei, your heart, of the atoms of the element, your outlook on the situation. So now, radioactivity refers to the actions that we make by spontaneously going after what we love and believe in, by changing our heart and our outlook on our situations. So now, radioactivity refers to action, just like my action to run for state office. You see, I had a friend in high school that had decided that he wanted to be a state officer when he was a green hand. He was smart, he was intelligent, he was good looking. He was the perfect candidate. So when I began to have aspirations to run, I didn't tell him. I didn't tell anyone, because quite frankly, I didn't think I stood a chance. But there was a burning aspiration to go for it. And that is exactly why I'm up here today. You see, a week before our chapter elected a state representative, and before he even knew I wanted to run, he walked into our ag teacher's office and said, my heart's just not in it anymore. I'm ready to go on to college and pursue a career. I was never a district or area officer. I was never a Ford Scholar, and I wasn't at the top of my class. I was one thing. I was passionate about giving back to this organization that has given me so much today. So I went for it. Texas FFA, you can't be afraid to go after what you love. Don't let anyone or anything stop you from being radioactive. So take a second, close your eyes. Think about the last 10 years of your life. What did you want to be when you were little? An astronaut, a cowboy, a rock star, or in my case, a world champion tie-down calf roper? Have things changed? Have your once dead set dreams come nothing but merely a figment of your imagination? Open your eyes. Look around you. There are open doors. There are opportunities all around you waiting for you to take them. So quit trying to write the perfect ending to your life and live for what is beautiful. Live for what is right now. Sometimes your situations don't change because it's waiting for your heart to change. Texas FFA, you have to get with it. You have to realize that everything will happen for a reason. You have to get with it. You have to see the opportunities that are right in front of you. And most importantly, you have to go for it. Texas FFA, be radioactive!